Hello friends, Mew here, and today I'm going to introduce you a new series in which I create an Elite Four around a specific theme. The show isn't really named yet, but for the first episode we're going to take a look at the Elite Four of podcast hosts. We're going to look at their teams, their chambers, how they reflect the people as a whole. For this Elite Four challenge, the first room you're going to enter is a chamber of pastel pinks and purples. There are pillows and blankets everywhere, and a little butterfly flits around the room, and the music in this chamber is this slow, dreamlike acoustic guitar. You approach a man who introduces himself as Dearest Scooter from the Sleep With Me podcast. Sleep With Me is a podcast where Scooter tells silly bedtime stories in which his aim is to put you to sleep. And when you come across his chamber, his signature creaky, dulcet tones challenge you to a battle. Now, I'm less inclined to give these Elite Four members specific typing since they're themed to their shows and the people themselves, and also there are certain canon Elite Four members that break their own typing themes. But it just so happens that Scooter's Pokemon are mostly normal type, apart from this one, Hypno. Hypno, of course, a Pokemon who's well known for putting people to sleep. This will be followed by Slacking, whose truant ability represents the unhappiness after waking up in the middle of the night. Following Slacking is, of course, Snorlax, the original sleepy Pokemon, whose abuse of rest properly represents Scooter's goal of making you feel refreshed after a nice sleep. This is followed by a Kamala, whose comatose ability allows it to sleep comfortably so long as it has its log pillow. This mirrors the ability of the listener to sleep so long as they have Scooter lulling them there. Finally, the last Pokemon on Scooter's team is a Togekiss, who not only represents the wings of consciousness that Scooter often mentions, its also association with peace is emphasized in the intro to Scooter's show. The second member of this podcasting Elite Four will be a little bit different. You enter a red and blue coloured room where not one but three people stand before you. They will introduce themselves as the McElroy brothers, who each possess two Pokemon on this team. Justin, Travis and Griffin will make some of their signature good goofs as they challenge you, and they definitely won't have a specific typing, as Griffin has already expressed his distaste for that.
Fire type? Could you do
fire-based?
I'll
probably just. That's a good idea, Justin. I'll probably just do a fire type one, so that one kid with one Blastoise can fuck up my whole shop. Killed all of us with one Blastoise, huh? Wow, shit. I should have.
Just do rock then. Just do rock type.
The same Blastoise.
Let's start out with Rapidash, as horses are a long-running joke on their first show, My Brother and Me. This Rapidash will also be shiny to represent Travis's signature purple quiff. After this, they'll send out Griffin's Nidoking, Jean Ralphio, from his Nuzlocke Y series. Then they'll send out an Aegislash, which will represent the raging, flaming, poisonous Sword of Doom from the Adventure Zone. This will be followed by Justin's first Pokemon, a Reuniclus? I always call it Reunculus. This represents his show Sawbones, a medical podcast. Reuniclus is the fully evolved form of Solosis, a Pokemon that most of the Doctor classes have in the game. Of course, Justin's other Pokemon is a Banette, as it's a perfect representation of the Haunted Doll Watch. This leaves Griffin's last Pokemon, which will be a Blissey, who represents bliss or happiness, which is perfect for his show Wonderful. The third chamber is black with white grid lines and one yellow square amongst them, in which stands Roman Mars, the third member of the podcast Elite Four. Roman Mars is famous for hosting 99% Invisible, a show about unnoticed design. Once again, his team will attempt to replicate the show rather than follow a strict typing theme. First, he'll have a Smeargle, a Pokemon dedicated to artistry, as his show is dedicated to the artistry around us. He'll then send out a Conkeldurr, a Pokemon based on construction workers, which represents 99PI's work on cities and infrastructure. After that, he'll send out a Chatot to represent the episodes of the show about sounds that are all around us. To represent the technology-based episodes of 99% Invisible, who better than a Porygon, commonly believed to be the first artificially designed Pokemon. Then finally we have a Kecleon, a literally 99% invisible Pokemon that can camouflage itself to hide. Finally, to top off our Elite Four of podcasters, we have the one and only Kevin Smith, host of a whole bunch of podcasts on the Smodcast network. His chamber is green and smoky. As the host of Fat Man on Batman, he'll start out with a Noivern, then he'll send out a Walrein to hearken to his movie Tusk, which was developed through an episode of Smodcast. Next up, we'll have a Tropius, for obvious reasons. Kev will follow this up with an Alakazam, since his vast intellect represents his podcast Edumacation. And finally, Kev will send out a Sableye, which is the closest Pokemon I could find to the Jersey Devil, which is a legend from Kevin Smith's home state and the mascot of his preferred hockey team. So, the Elite Four of podcasting, what do you think? Let me know in the comment down below, or hit up my socials. If you have an idea for a different member of the Elite Four, let me know. If you have an idea for a different theme, let me know. And as always, love you, bye.